Renaissance man, with creations that we admire even 7,000 years after. This man is
Michelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti Simoni.
painter, engineer, architect, poet, and a talented sculptor. Born on the 6th of March, 1475, near
Arezzo Caprice, Tuscany.
his talent was discovered at an early age of 13.
13, yeah.
His father, Alberto Buonarroti, gave permission to be an apprentice at a studio in Florence. When Lorenzo de' Medici noticed his talent, and without a second thought, patronized him and gave support by keeping a place in his school of architecture. Lorenzo's death on April 9, 1492, left Michelangelo alone, but soon he was in demand from Pope after Pope. After exposing some of his work, this man was thought of as a genius, and he knew it for himself. When painting the Sistine Chapel, even he was jealous of his own work.
Oh, so jelly.
In 1508, Pope Julius II was determined to have Michelangelo decorate the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
You are to paint 12 figures of apostles and decorate the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Here is your wet plaster and fresh paint. You shall include stories from the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament.
If Michelangelo wanted to do this, he had to paint this gigantic ceiling of 40 meters long and 13 meters wide day and night. All his projects, including sculpting in the Pope's tomb, was to stop. Michelangelo regarded himself as a sculptor, and painting was not his preference. He had never painted the art of fresco.
Nuh-uh.
But when he turned down the Pope, Julius II cancelled all his projects and threatened him. The Pope did not want to lose such a talented person. Michelangelo's reward would be to get back to working at the tomb.
Hooray!
Michelangelo had committed himself to the Sistine Chapel now. It was very important to him because it was the biggest project he ever did for the Pope. Michelangelo made himself a genius by him completing a huge fresco for the first time. There is always a first time to something, and succeeding with many jaws to be dropped. But this project caused Michelangelo to suffer internally and externally. He committed his whole body to paint at such a height. Michelangelo spent day and night up high because he couldn't constantly go up and down, up and down. He even slept up there on the scaffolding. His sonnet for the Sistine Chapel made lines that showed how torturous his job was. This comes from dangling from the ceiling. On my face the paint's congealing. Move without the help of eyes. I'm on all fours. I live in hell and paint its pictures. He soon suffered from vertigo. After months of working on the Sistine Chapel with assistants, Michelangelo decided he did not like the results. Ew! And took everything out and fired his assistants and started the journey from scratch. After 4 years spent on the Sistine Chapel, spent locked in the chapel, he was assigned by Pope Paul III to do the entrance painting to the Sistine Chapel, which would take him another 5 more tortured years.
His religious figure, David, was the first standing statue at the time.
Whoop!
He stands in awe and refinement, holding strength
fortezza,
and anger,
Isa.
representing Florence liberty from the Medici family, their winning independence. It was a time where nepotism occurred.
I was taken to the family of the Medici.
The Medici cousins, Giovanni and Giulio, took part in religious rites. While Giovanni was elected as Pope Leo X, Giulio was made cardinal. Once Leo X had died, Giulio was then elected as Pope Clement VII. It was also a time where day by day the Medicis were losing loyalty from the citizens of Italy. Michelangelo was having an internal conflict at this point because he knew that what the Medicis were doing was wrong, but he holds a strong guilt since they did take him in. Later on, they were expelled from Rome. Their way to gain power from fear was their sacking of Prado. Back to David.
David!
There is a story behind the creation of the well-known David.
Story time! Yeah!
A story from the Bible about a muscular, intelligent, noble, and a capable boy who defeated his enemy, a giant named Goliath. All faith in serving and fighting with God. Michelangelo used Carrara marble to build the figure with fine details, a Belvedere torso, of which he favored to draw all man's forms once he has discovered them. Studies have shown that the right arm is heavier and bigger than the left arm to metaphorically express how much power he had. A slingshot was draped across the shoulder, ready to kill that 9 feet tall giant Goliath. Watching the approach and with intensity in its eyes, the statue of David was vital to Florence, the direct symbol of the city-state.
We still admire a few of his well-known paintings that were on the Sistine Chapel ceiling, such as the creation of Adam and Eve. Many tourists visit Florence to see the statue of David and are reminded about the beauty of art during the Renaissance, the story of the battle between David and Goliath in the Bible, and Michelangelo, a revolutionary artist. Michelangelo's Belvedere torso inspired many other artists during the Renaissance, and his creations were jaw-dropping as well as inspiring. His contributions led to Florence being known as the City of Art during the Renaissance. Michelangelo worked from project to project for another 30 years. He was a sad figure now. He couldn't sleep. He had little to eat, little to drink. He worked day and night. But then, unfortunately, he died. In the Pope's tomb was to stop.
Michelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti